Candyman, 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 Candyman. Welcome to my safe Gavin. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. I know I'm late for this one, but I wasn't seeing it opening weekend because I worked this weekend. And so I had to wait till I was off. And so we are finally here to talk about 2021 Candyman, directed by Nia DaCosta. I finally got a chance to see it, even though it's almost next weekend. Most people have already seen it because it's #1 at the box office. Nia DaCosta broke history by being the first black female director to open with a #1 movie at the box office. So congratulations to her. I'm still going to be a non-spoiler review because there are still, I know personally people that haven't seen the movie yet. But regardless of whether you've seen the movie or you haven't seen the movie, I need your thoughts and your comments in the conversation below. Like, comment, interact for the algorithm. Let me know what you thought about Candyman if you saw it. How does it compare to the 1992 version of Candyman? Which one is your favorite? Or if you haven't seen the movie yet, are you excited about the movie? The fact that it's #1 at the box office, does that make you more excited about the movie? Do you plan on seeing the movie in theaters maybe this weekend, or are you just going to wait until it hits streaming? Which I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but lately, ever since COVID, movies haven't stayed in the theaters that long. So, and then also, if you can, please do me a favor. And if you're watching this video, hit that like button. You do not know how much it helps with the YouTube algorithm and everything like that, and getting the video and the channel and everything like that out there. So yeah, Candyman, like I mentioned, this movie is directed by Nia DaCosta. And ever since I first saw the trailer for this movie a while ago, because I remember this movie was supposed to come out last year. So the trailer's been out and we've been waiting for this movie for a long time. I was excited because this movie looked good. And then after that, like literally right after the trailer first dropped, the news dropped that Marvel hired Nia DaCosta to direct Captain Marvel 2, which is now called The Marvels. I think they did it based off of this movie, so that made me even more excited to see this movie. So the hype for this movie was like through the roof. Plus, you know, black movie, black director, black woman director, and mostly pretty much all black cast, black horror, blood, sex, gore, magic, you know, that's my thing. And Jordan Peele was listed as the producer for this movie, and I really enjoyed Get Out. Us, I enjoyed, but not as much. But I'm still really excited about his next movie titled Nope. So yeah, like, again, like my expectations and my hype was like through the roof with this movie. Does this movie live up to the hype? For me, I would say I was a little disappointed by this movie. Now, I know there are a lot of people that came out this movie loving it and everything like that, but yeah, me, I was disappointed. Let's talk about why I was disappointed. But let me say this. When I say I was disappointed by the movie, that doesn't mean I disliked the movie. That doesn't mean I hated the movie. That doesn't mean the movie was garbage. Because even when somebody texted me, they was like, hey, how was Candyman? And I was like, it was alright. And they were like, oh, so you didn't like the movie? I'm like, I didn't say that. I said it was alright. That doesn't mean I hated it. That doesn't mean I loved it. I thought it was just alright. So I say all that to say, yeah, I was disappointed because with all the, I just talked about all the hype and everything like that I had going into this movie. I feel like I'm being like Bernie Sanders with my head, like in my hands, or Medicare for all, like. But yeah, when I say I was disappointed in the movie, it's because I was super hyped and had a lot of expectations and expected to go into this movie loving it. And yeah, I just thought it was okay, and it wasn't as great as I was expecting it to be. Now, getting into positives, let's talk about some positives first. I will say, obviously, you know, a pretty much all black cast. I love seeing that, especially in my fantasy horror properties. You got Yahya Abdul-Mateen, and if y'all have seen Watchmen, or if you've seen my reviews regarding Watchmen, y'all already know. Oh Lord, especially episode 8, where he oh girl. Now, there was none of that in this movie, but anytime I see Yahya Abdul-Mateen, I think about Striking Vipers, and always this moment right here between him and Anthony Mackie. You got Black Manta and Falcon, a merging of the DC and Marvel universe all up, and you got a little bit of action going on here. And that's also why, even though I was upset with Anthony Mackie, and I made a video about it, about his comments regarding people who ship Sam and Bucky, I don't necessarily think he's homophobic like a lot of people were saying, because, I mean, in the beginning, his career, Like, he made his career playing gay roles, and then even when he was still Anthony Mackie, he still did this episode of Striking Vipers. So I don't think he's homophobic. I think his views on that particular situation sucked. But yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But Yaya, even though there was none of the Dr. Manhattan stuff in this movie, I'm still just like, I get so weak in my knees, I can hardly sit. Hashtag the thirst is always real. I'm like, that's what happens when you've been single since like 2009. Jesus Christ. Plus, the real reason I talk about and portray my thirst so much is just for the representation aspect. Like, again, everybody that talks and reviews movies is all straight people. So you hear straight men or straight women lust after or talk about how she fine, he fine. But how many gay voices do you hear in this space? Not much. So I'm going to thirst, and I'm going to thirst proudly and publicly. So there you go. And then, of course, you got Tiana Paris, who most people have come to know and enjoy and love from her debut in WandaVision. I'm pretty sure she's done other things before that, but my first time seeing her is in WandaVision, and now you get this. Vanessa Williams is back from the original Candyman. Just so many other black faces in this movie. So that was gorgeous and beautiful and lovely and welcome to see. And then on top of that, like, I really feel like the score for this movie was the best thing about this movie. Like, and I'm not necessarily surprised because it is a Jordan Peele produced movie. Like, one thing I will say about Jordan Peele movies with regards to Get Out and Us, like, his score is like damn near like epic in every moment. Like, I even remember like how Us started and it was just like that. And I was like, I don't know what this song is. I should have Shazammed it. But I was like, this song is fucking like creepy. Like, it sets the mood for what you think this movie's gonna be. Like, I was like, this song is gorgeous. So I'm not surprised at all for the score for this movie being so good. The acting for this movie, I thought the lore that they built around Candyman and then just some of the shots that they used, there were moments that Nia DaCosta was telling a story through paper mache. Like, I thought that was beautiful, and that was honestly one of the best moments in the movie for me. And I really did like how she took the original Candyman 1992 movie and shifted the lore and the mythology and told it through a black lens, as opposed to the original movie was written and directed by a white man telling this kind of black story, but then having a white woman be the protagonist. Well, Nia DaCosta was like, nope, this is a black horror character and we're telling it with black characters through a black lens. So I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie and that reworking of the Candyman plot. And I felt like the first two halves of this movie were really compelling. Like I said, everything that they were building around Candyman, the stories that they were telling, and interweaving it with real life events. Like, this whole thing, like even in the trailer where it's like say his name, and interweaving that with the Say My Name campaign kind of that was going on with like Black Lives Matter and everything like that. Like, I felt like it really worked with the movie. But this is the part that the movie not started to lose me, but this is the part that I started to get disappointed with. Because yeah, like I said, the score, I was loving the score, I was loving these actors, I was loving the story that they were building in the first two halves. But the thing that was disappointing me is even with loving everything that was happening in the first two halves, like, this is a horror movie, and I always say the things I love in my fantasy is blood, sex, gore, and magic. And while yes, there was some blood, there wasn't really any sex, and there definitely was some gore, but for me, I feel like there wasn't enough of it. Like, I wanted to see like death on death galore. Like, I'll consider Candyman to be a slasher film, especially when you look back at that original 1992 film, like when he killed the dog and everything. Like, the first Candyman movie was gory, at least for I think like 1992 standards-ish. Like, but I feel like this movie, there wasn't really a lot of it. Like, there were moments where she made the choice to move the camera away where you don't see the actual kills, you just hear it in the background. And sure, that could work for like some movies and everything like that. Like, sometimes it's about what you don't see. But I feel like for this movie, at least for me, it didn't work. Like, I wanted to see all the, especially considering who Candyman was killing, I wanted to see all of it. Like, it kind of reminds me of like how I would feel if, spoilers for Game of Thrones, but in season 3 when you see Joffrey die, I would be upset if they didn't show it and they just said it, like they just implied it, or they moved the camera away to be like, oh, Joffrey just died, and I'm just like, but wait, we didn't see it? Like, considering how much of a character Joffrey, like, no, this is terrible. And granted, it's not really an apt comparison, but this is a slasher. You need to see the slashes and everything like that. And so, yeah, like, you saw some of it, but you didn't get enough of it. Like, and you saw this in the trailer where the bunch of white girls were saying Candyman in the mirror. and then you see in the trailer, obviously they die in the trailer. It's not a spoiler because you see it in the trailer. Not you don't see it, but they kind of imply it in the trailer. And yeah, for the most part, they cut away from that whole like you didn't see any of the deaths. You cut to the little black girl that was in the bathroom stall. She had her, cover her ears, and you heard the screaming, and you saw some of the blood on the floor and everything like that. And I kind of get what she might have been going for. Like, imagine if you were in the bathroom, just maybe peeing or just minding your business, and all of a sudden you heard a bunch of people dying outside. Like, imagine how much horror and dread and fear you would feel. So I guess she's probably trying to show that element, but just for the sake of it being a slasher, like, I wanted to see them die. Like, yeah, so that didn't work for me. And then also the thing that really didn't work for me is that last third act. Like, I feel like the movie started off really well in those first two acts, besides, being disappointed at the lack of the slasher, but I still was enjoying the movie overall. But then I feel like once it got to the end, like, this movie was only like an hour and a half, and I feel like this movie could have definitely been longer, like maybe 2 hours. Hell, the beginning part of the movie, they started off so slow, building the mythology and the world around Candyman, and then I feel like the third act, it just went full, it just jumped into the Speed Force and sprinted to the end. And like, so with that, hell, the movie could have been 2.5 hours, and I probably would have still enjoyed it, because yeah, I feel like the movie took a mad dash to the end, and where it was just a slow build up, then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute guys, we're getting to the hour and a half mark, all right, it's time to end it. And I feel like everything like that, like the movie to me just started to become a cartoon to a certain extent, especially when you get like the reveal at the end where, the villain or one of the villains reveals his motivation. I'm just like, what is happening right now? Like, the character almost became like a snidely whiplash, mustache twirling villain. And also, this isn't a big thing, but at the same time, I'm kind of confused of the story that Nia DaCosta is trying to tell with regards to Candyman, because, and I would say this is a slight spoiler, but again, most people have seen the movie, but it's not like necessarily plot breaking. So if you don't want to hear anything, skip ahead a couple seconds or whatever, but I would say like 30 seconds. But yeah, slight spoiler. It seems like in this movie, Nia DaCosta is trying to say like Candyman is an urban folktale legend hero amongst the black community, because throughout the movie, you see him killing white people. You don't see him killing any black people. But then when you get to the end and the laundromat guy, I can't think of his name, he reveals that Candyman killed his sister. It's like, so he is killing black people. But then you get to the end where Tiana Paris's character says his name in the mirror. He kills all the white cops, which especially those cops, I'm just like, great. Like, I want them to die, and I want them to die bloody. But yet, at the same time, he leaves Tiana Paris's Brianna character alone, even though she was the one that summoned him. So I'm like, so does he not kill black people, or does he kill black people? I'm confused. Maybe I'm just not smart. Okay, that's the end of the spoiler part. If you saw them again, I don't think it was that big of a spoiler, but yeah, some people don't want to know anything. And then also there's a story element that they incorporate with regards to Tiana Paris's character. They don't go anywhere with that stuff, so I was just like, what was the point of including this in the story? And like, it doesn't play into the Candyman element of the story, the mythology, or really developing more of her character, her relationship with her brother. Like, it's just something that they throw in there just for the sake of throwing it in there. But I was just like, what was the point of including this in the story if it's not going to actually go anywhere? It's not going to draw any conclusion with regards to, it's not going to connect to any, like, it literally had no bearing on the story. So I was like, what was the point? But overall, like I said, I liked the movie. I thought it was okay. I didn't feel like it was a waste of my time, like a Thunder Force, for example. But would I recommend going to the theater? I mean, actually, let me take that back. This is a black movie. Yes, I would recommend going to the theater. Go support your black female director, your black actors, and everything like that. So yeah, if you can do it safely, see it in the theaters. But yeah, I would say for me, Candyman is a high breaking even. Oh, this is something else that I forgot to mention that I was disappointed with. Like, it doesn't technically affect my rating of the movie, but I was still disappointed. So in this movie, Tiana Paris's character has a brother, and her brother is gay, and he plays a pretty prominent role in the movie, but his love interest is a white man. And I'm like, of course he has to be with a white man. I'm like, why couldn't his love interest also be black? And watch me say all this and I end up falling in love and marrying a white guy. And even with that, like, it's nothing against who you love in real life. Love who you love. But when it comes to depictions in not just fantasy, but just like depictions in media, period, it seems like the go-to for black people is to always have them in an interracial relationship with a white person. And it's like, you don't even see like a black person dating an Asian person, a black person dating an Indian person, a black person and a native person, indigenous person. You never see that. It's always white and somebody else, white and somebody. Even in Aladdin, they had to add a white character that had nothing to do with the original Disney movie, but they just threw in a white character just because why? I don't know. Like, so that's my biggest problem with the whole interracial relationship in terms of like media and everything like that. It's always got to be a white person. Like, if you're going to put them in an interracial relationship, why couldn't it be with like a native person or an Asian person? Again, yeah, so that was something else I was also disappointed in. But yeah, again, the question is, have you guys seen Candyman? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. You might completely disagree with me, and that's fine. Keep it respectful, though. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know why you like the movie, why you disagree with me, why you agree with me, and everything like that. Also, once again, if you can, hit that thumbs up button and like this video. Even if you disagree with my opinion, you still watch the video, right? Like the video and everything like that. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm and the channel and getting my name and everything like that out there, so I can probably finally do this full time. Like, Hurricane Ida is about to come through New Jersey right now, and I'm just like, oh, of course a hurricane would hit when I gotta go to work tonight. Great. But anyway, you can help me not go to work anymore and have this be my career and not work, and by hitting that like button, subscribing if you haven't subscribed. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video, and tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.